percentage distribution of income of 7 firms. 7 firms are 7 companies, right? In the year 2010 and 2013 is given below in the pie chart. So I think there's one pie chart for 2010, the other one is for 2013, right? He's talking about 7 firms. What are the 7 firms? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? Here also we have got A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But interestingly, the values for G, F and E are missing in the second pie chart. All the others are given to us. Like if you look at 2010's graph, we have been given all the percentage values, right? 10 plus 6, 16 plus 7, 23 plus 9, 32 plus 21, 53 plus 3, 56 plus 44, 100. So this 100% distribution across 7 firms is given. Here it's missing, right? I mean the values for G, F, E are missing. Anyways, next point says that the percentage distribution of some firms is not given. Yes, we have already figured that out, right? For 3 of these companies, it's not given in 2013. You have to calculate these values. What values? This GFE values, if required, to answer the question. So these values may not be required in every question that we solve here, right? So if it is required, then calculate those values and then answer the question. Then what is the point given here? Ratio of total income of all 7 firms in 2010 to 2013 is 5:7. See, usually a pie chart comes along with a total value. But here instead of giving the total value, what he has given is the ratio of total values of the 2 pie charts. So the total income for the first year 2010 is 5 parts and total income for the second year 2013 is 7 parts. See, ratio is 5:7. And from our understanding of ratios, we know that if it is 5:7, it means like 5 parts and 7 parts, or you can say 5x and 7x, right? So basically if it is like 50 rupees, here it will be 70 rupees. If it is 5 lakh here, it will be 7 lakhs here. If it is 50 crores here, this is going to be 70 crores, right? The ratio should be 5:7. So what can be actually calculated here from this graph? Let's say I want to find out the income of D in 2010. Income of D in 2010. How do we get that? Income of D in 2010. See, income of D in 2010 is 9%. 9% of what? These 5 parts. So it's going to be 9% of 5x. I mean, of course, we have no idea about what x is, but 9% of 5. 9% of 5x. Similarly for all the other companies, I mean, there's nothing much to be discussed here, right? What is the income of A in 2013? 11% of 7x. What is the income of E in 2013? We don't know what percentage it is, right? So whatever it is, some percentage of 7x, right? So if there's a question that requires us to find out the value of E, some data will be given pertaining to that. We have to use that to find out the value of E first and then answer the required question. So I think that's about the given data here, right? Let us now look at the questions asked along with this. So I'll just move to the next slide, which has got the questions here. Yeah. So I think the directions have been removed. We know what it is, right? 2010 income of companies, income of 7 companies. 2013 also income of 7 companies. The ratio of total income of all the 7 firms in 2010 to 2013 is 5:7. And here's the question. What you see on the right hand side is the question. So let's look at this. It says, if expenditure of B in 2010 is 80% of its income and expenditure of E in 2013 is 60% of its income and income of E in 2013 is 100/3% more than the income of E in 2010, then saving of B in 2010 is what percent of saving of E in 2013? Wow. Now that's an interesting one, right? And the question itself is such a long one. And of course, it involves E in 2013. So basically this missing value has to be calculated first. So I'll leave you with this for 1 minute. I'm sure all of you can crack it yourself. So try this out and then we'll discuss the solution. You have 1 minute for this. So here's the first question. It says if expenditure of B in 2010 is 80% of its income and expenditure of E in 2013 is 60% of its income and income of E in 2013 is 100/3% more than the income of E in 2010, then the saving of B in 2010 is what percent of saving of E in 2013. So if you see, the actual question says saving of B in 2010 is what percent of saving of E in 2013. So typical percentage type question, right? X is what percent of Y. What is X here? Saving of B in 2010. So X is what percent of Y. What is Y here? Saving of E in 2013. So all we have to find out here is X is what percent of Y. X is what percent of Y? A standard question type, right? X is what percent of Y. X is what percent of Y? How do you calculate this? X upon Y into 100. So here X is saving of B in 2010 and Y is saving of E in 2013. So savings of B in 2010 by savings of E in 2013 into 100. Right? X by Y into 100. I mean, that's what we need to evaluate here. Now, don't waste your time in writing down the formula and all that stuff on your paper, right? I mean, you cut down the number of steps. This is just for your reference. In fact, you should not even write this. You should just play with numbers. Now, what is savings of B in 2010? Let me not write all the detailed steps here. I'll explain this to you directly. See, the point to be noted here is, we are talking about income, expenditure and savings. You know that income is equal to expenditure plus saving, right? You earn something which becomes your income, you spend something from it and the rest is saving. So income is basically expenditure plus saving, or the sum of expenditure and saving will give you the income. Now if you look at it, it says expenditure of B in 2010 is 80% of its income. Expenditure is 80%. This is 80%. If expenditure is 80%, it is obvious that the saving will be 20%. Yes or no? If expenditure is 20, and see, remember, both expenditure and saving will be calculated on the income. Expenditure is 80% of income, so saving will be the rest, which is 20% of the income. So if expenditure of B in 2010 is 80% of its income, then obviously the saving of B in 2010, which is the numerator, savings of B in 2010 is going to be 20%. 20% of what? 20% of its income. Now what is 20% of its income? What is the income of B? Income of B is 6%. This is the income graph, right? The pie charts given to us are for income. So I can say that the saving of B in 2010 is 20% of B's income. What is B's income? B's income is 6% of 5x. Remember, the ratio given is 5:7. So if this is 5x, here if the total is 5x, for this graph the total is going to be 7x. So savings of B in 2010 is going to be 20% of its income, 20% of income. What is the income? Income is 6%. 6% of what? 6% of 5x, or simply 5. X and EV will get cancelled in numerator and denominator. So that's the numerator, 20% of 6% of 5x. Now what is the savings of E in 2013? Look at the next part. Expenditure of E in 2013. Expenditure of E in 2013 is 60%. Again, expenditure is 60% of some company in some year. Whichever company, whichever year. Expenditure of E in 2013 is 60%. If expenditure is 60%, savings is going to be 40%. These are all mental calculations. You don't have to write on paper and waste your time. Expenditure of in 2013 is 60%. If expenditure is 60%, it's obvious that saving is going to be 40%. 40% of what? 40% of the income in 2013. Expenditure is 60% of its income. Saving is 40% of its income. So savings of E in 2013 is going to be 40% of its income. Now the whole question here is, what is the income of E in 2013? Income of E in 2013 is not given to us. Income of B in 2010 was directly given 6%, but here income of E in 2013 is not given. But then the next part of the question says income of E in 2013, which is what we need. Income of E in 2013 is 100 by 3%. 100 by 3% is 33.33%. 100 by 3% more than the income of E in 2010. 100 by 3% more than the income of E in 2010. So that's a separate calculation. I mean, you don't have to put pen on paper, but let me just explain that to you. Income of E in 2013 is equal to 100 by 3%. More than the income of E in 2010. What is the income of E in 2010, by the way? 21% of 5x. See, 100 by 3% more means what? 100 by 3 is like 33.33% or 1/3. 1/3 more. 1/3 more means what? It becomes 4 by 3 times. You understand? Direct calculation will be 4 by 3 times of its income in the previous year, which is 21% of 5x. See, 21% of 5x, very clear. 21% of 5x is the income of E in 2010. Income of E in 2010. Why are we multiplying with this by 4 by 3? Because the question says that it is 1/3 more. So, income of E in 2010 is, let's say, this. So, what will be the income of E in 2013? This plus 1/3 of this. You understand? Income of E in 2013 plus 1/3 of income of E in 2013. So, if we take this common, we'll have 1 plus 1 by 3. You're able to follow. Let's assume income of E in 2013, income of E in 2013 is equal to, let's say, I. According to the question, income of E in 2013 is equal to I plus 1/3 of I. So if you take I common, what do we have? I into 4 by 3. 1 plus 1 by 3 is 4 by 3. So that's exactly what we're doing here. 4 by 3 times of income of E in 2010. please do not do this in the exam. I mean, don't put pen on paper to evaluate all this in the exam, right? You should be able to do that mentally. So in savings of E in 2013 is 40% of income of E in 2013. And income of E in 2013, as we have calculated, is 4 by 3 times of 21% of 5x. Done. Do the calculation and get the answer. So what happens? 5x and 5x gets cancelled. Forget about all these percentages. I mean, anyway, percentage gets cancelled in numerator and denominator. This 20 is 20 into 1, 20 into 2. This goes how many times? 7 times. And I can say this goes 3 times here. So we have 3 by 4 into 7, 28. 3 by 28. You understand? So the final answer is going to be 3 by 28 into 100. X is what percent of y? X by y into 100. That into 100 is there. So 3 by 28 into 100. So which is like 300 by 28. Upon simplification, 300 by 28 will become 75 by 7. 4 times. I mean, this is 4 into 7. This is 4 into 25. So 25 into 3 is 75 divided by 7. 75 by 7 percentage. Option 1 is the answer. 75 by 7 percentage, option 1. While it looks to be lengthy, it is because I was writing all the steps in detail, right? When you solve it in the exam, I think the only step that you should put on paper, right, that you should put on paper is this, right? You'll just play with these numbers. You will not write anything else on paper other than this. And I'm sure that will help you save a lot of time. I mean, all these other steps that we have put here are all understanding, right? I mean, you know x is what percent of y. So don't go by the length of the solution or the number of steps that you have put. All this in red is a waste of time. You should not be writing this. Savings of B in 2010 divided by savings of E in 2013. Nobody's gonna give you marks for that, right? Again, income is equal to expenditure plus profit. All this is understanding, right? Expenditure is 80%, so saving is 20%. Expenditure is 60%, so saving is 40%. These are all things which you know, right? I'm just trying to highlight what all we have put here is not required. This also 4 by 3 into 21% of 5x directly right here. So see, only one step in my view, right? More than half of the solution should be done mentally. All right. So that's the answer to the first question. Option 1, 75 by 7 percentage. Let's look at the next one. So here's the next question. It says, if difference between the total income of all firms in 2010 and total income of all firms in 2013 is D, then what is the ratio of average income of firm A, B and E together in 2010 to the average income of firm B, C and D together in 2013? So basically he says that the difference between total income of all firms in 10 and total income of all firms in 2013 is D. Then he's asking us to find out the ratio of average income of A, B, E in 10 and average income of B, C, D in 13. I think A, B, E are known to us. B, C, D are also known to us. Why is the difference needed? Well, I don't think the first part of the question is needed. It's redundant, right? We don't need these to answer the question, right? I think we can just look at the remaining part of the question and answer. He's asking us to find out the average of A, B, E is to average of B, C, D in 10 and 13 respectively. I'll directly play with the numbers here, right? I mean, you don't have to waste your time writing the value. So average of A, B, E. What is A? 10, B 6, E 21. So 10 plus 6, 16, 16 plus 21, 37. 37% of 5x divided by 3. Now don't waste your time in doing the division and trying to simplify it, because anyway this has to be compared with BCD in 13. So 4, 8 and 6. 4, 8, 12 and 6 is 18. 18% of 7x divided by 3. Simplify, no? 3 and 3 anyway gets cancelled. Percentage gets cancelled. X gets cancelled. So 37 5s is 180 plus 35. Sorry, 150 plus 35. 185 is to 18 7s. 18 7s is 126. That's your answer. 185 is to 126. Option 3. Right? Simple one. Simple. Very simple compared to the previous question. Let's move to the next one. Okay, here's the next question. Try this one now. the income of E in 13 is 400 by 7% of income of E in 10. And the ratio between percentage distribution of income of F and G is 11:8 in 13. Then what is the percentage distribution of income of F in 2013? Now this is an interesting one. Not very simple, but not very complicated also. Should be done in like 45 seconds to 50 seconds. So your time starts now. Yeah, Priyanka Singh has confirmed that that was the answer for the previous one. So looks like not many of you have been able to solve this. Chalo, time is up. Let's take up the solution now. This way we will not be able to solve many questions, right? It's 7:15 already. We have just 45 minutes left to conclude this session. So here's the question. If income of firm E in 2013 is 400 by 7% of income of E in 2010, and the ratio between percentage distribution of income of firm F and G is 11:8 in 2013, then what is the percentage distribution of income of firm F in 2013? So basically the question is, what is the, we got to find out the percentage distribution of income of firm F in 2013. You understand? So this is what we need to calculate, right? This pi is what percentage. F in 2013 is what percentage. Now for that we should know what is G and what is E, because all the other percentages are known to us. A, B, C, D is known to us, 11, 4, 8 and 6. What we do not know here is E and G. How can we find that out? Now with respect to E, I think directly he has given that income of E in 2013. Income of E in 2013 is 400 by 7% of the income of E in 2010. And we very clearly know the income of E in 2010. So E in 2010 is 21% of 5x. What is E in 2013? E in 2013 is 400 by 7%. 400 by 7%. 400 by 7% is what? 400 by 7 into 100. X percentage is X by 100. So 400 by 7 is like 400 by 700. Or in fact, you can directly take it as 4 by 7. Anyway, so income of E in 2013 is 400 by 7% of the income of E in 2010, which is 21% of 5x. Income of E in 2010 is 21% of 5x. Now simplify this, what happens? 100 and 100 here gets cancelled anyway. 7 goes 3 times here. So 4 into 3, 12. 12% of 5x. 12% of 5x. So basically the income of E in 2013 is 12% of 5x. 12% of 5x. But then understand, if you look at the graph for 2013, this is 11% of 7x. This is 4% of 7x. This is 8% of 7x. This is 6% of 7x. I cannot write 12% directly here. This 12% would be wrong, because this 12% is for 5x. It is 12% of 5x. All the remaining percentages, 11, 4, 8 and 6 are with respect to 7x. You remember 7x. But this 12% alone comes out to be for 5x. So what we need to do here is first find out how much percentage will this be with respect to 7x. So simple calculation. 12% of 5x is equal to what percent of 7x? That will give us a conversion. We know that absolute value of E here is 12% of 5x. I am trying to convert that to what percentage of 7x. Whatever percentage you get here, that can be filled in this pie. You get that? So how much is this question mark? This comes out to be what? See, x anyway gets cancelled. Forget about the percentage also. 12 into 5, 60 by 7. So this question mark here is 60 by 7. 60 by 7 percentage. So I can say that the income of E in 2013, which came out to be 12% of 5x initially, is equivalent to 60 by 7 percentage of 7x. See, look at it. 7 and 7 gets cancelled. 60% of x. This is also same. 12% of 5x is like 60% of x. Yes or no? 12% of 5x is 12 into 5, 60% of x. Here also 7 and 7 gets cancelled, we get 60% of x. So basically, the value that comes for the pi E here is 60 by 7. This is 60 by 7. 60 by 7 percentage. So now everything is with respect to 7x. 11% of 7x, 4% of 7x, 8% of 7x, 6% of 7x, 60 by 7% of 7x. What is he asking us to find out? Now, after the income of E is calculated, he says the ratio between percentage distribution of income of F and G is 11:8. F and G is 11:8. So the distribution between F and G is in what ratio? 11:8 ratio. Which means if this is, let's say, 11 parts, this is 8 parts. 11p is to 8p. I could have taken x also, but we have considered x already for income, right? So I'm taking 11p and 8p. Otherwise, it is 11x and 8x, right? So the ratio between F and G is 11:8. What do we have to find out? We have to find out percentage contribution, percentage distribution in F. Now easy to do. First of all, let us find out how much is F and G together. See, this total is going to be 100%. Total is always 100%. Out of 100%, we already know the values of rest of the firms, A, B, C, D, E. So from 100, if you subtract all these values, what you get is G and F together. So I can say G plus F is equal to 100 minus, you understand, 100 minus, how much is the rest? 11 plus 4, 15, 15 plus 8, 23, 23 plus 6 is 29, 29 plus 60 by 7. So 100 minus 29 minus 60 by 7. You getting it? G and F together is going to be 100 minus 29 minus 60 by 7%. Simplify this. So 7 is LCM, of course. This like 700 minus 29 into 7 is how much? 203. 203 and 60 is 263. So 700 minus 263 will be, 700 minus, how much is that? Sorry. 700 minus this is 203 and 60, 263. So 437. So 437 by 7%. G and F together. G plus F is 437 by 7%. Now we know the total of G and F. We also know the ratio between G and F, 11:8. So can we find out what is F? Yes. So F will be how much? See, you know the ratio. Now it becomes a very simple question. Ratio is known to us, 11:8. Total is also known to us. Distribute accordingly. So F is going to have how much? 11 parts out of 11 plus 8, 19 parts. Yes or no? 11 by 19. F is 11 by 19. G will be 8 by 19, right? But we need F. So 11 by 19 into 437 by 7%. Simplify. 437 by 19. That's like 380 plus 57. It goes 23 times exactly, right? 23 times. 23 into 11. 230 plus 23. 253. 253 by 7. 253 by 7%. So option 3 will be the answer. I know a little calculation intensive, 2-3 steps here, but you have to be really quick with these numbers, right? I mean, see, explanation has taken a bit of time, but when you do it yourself, I'm sure you'll save a lot of time. Again, cut down all the unnecessary steps. You don't have to write, E in 2010 is 21% of 5x. This is not needed. You should start with this step. Convert that to this thing. Right? Again, I would say try and avoid this. You should be able to do this mentally. 12% of 5x is what percentage of 7x? If you can do this step mentally, then you save, some good time here. And then again, these are all simple calculations. Right? So the question here goes as follows. Income of firm A, B and E together in 2010 is what percent more or less than the income of firm C, D and E together if the income of firm E in 2013 is 50% more than the income of firm A in 2010. Approximately. He's asking us to do an approximate calculation. Right? So income of A, B and E together in 2010. Right? So this question is in the form of X is what percent more or less than Y. Right? You look at this income of A, B and E together in 2010. This is like X is what percentage more or less than Y. What is Y? Income of C, D, E together. Now one question is Y, I mean the variable Y, X is what percent of Y. So that Y, income of C, D, E together, in which year? Is he referring to 2010 or 2013? That's not very clear. Yes or no? Income of A, B in 2010, A, B, E in 2010. But C, D, E, is C, D, E for 2010 or C, D, E for 2013? That's not very clear. So strictly speaking, I can say question cannot be answered. However, going by the most likely case, if you look at the remaining part of the question, it says the income of E in 2013, the income of E in 2013. So he's talking about income of E in 2013, which is 50% more than the income of A in 2010. 50% more than the income of A in 2010. So it is most likely 2013 and not 2010, because he's given us some relationship to find out the income of E in 2013. So I am assuming that the Y part here is with respect to 2013 and X part is anyway very clearly with respect to 2010. Now, how do you find out X is what percentage more or less than Y? X is what percent more or less than Y? What's the calculation? X is what percentage more or less than Y? How do you solve this? X is what percent more or less than Y? X minus Y by Y into 100. This is how you do this, right? Again, don't write this in the exam. This is just for your reference. X is what percentage more or less than Y? X minus Y by Y into 100. X clearly in our case is ABE in 2010. Right? So what is X calculate? ABE in 2010. So 10 plus 6 plus 21. 10 plus 6 plus 21. 10 plus 6, 16. 16 plus 27, 21. Right? So 37. 37% of 5X. What is Y? Now, Y is CDE. C is 8%, D 6%, E is not known to us. So first of all, we'll have to find out E. E in 2013. Let's do that calculation. E in 2013. What is E in 2013? He says E in 2013 is 50% more than A in 2010. E in 2013 is 50% more than A in 2010. What is A in 2010? 10% of 5X. See, E is 50% more. Means what? E is 50% more than A in 2010, meaning A in 2010 plus 50% of A in 2010. Again, if you are smart, you will directly take it as 3 by 2 of A in 2010. Because A in 2010 plus 50% is half of A in 2010. So if you take A in 2010 common, we will get 1 plus 1 by 2, 3 by 2. 3 by 2 times of A in 2010. So this is how you cut down the number of steps and keep it simple, right? So what is E in 2013? 3 by 2 times of A in 2010, which is equal to 3 by 2 into A in 2010 is how much? 10% of 5X. 10% of 5X. So this is like goes 5 times. 3 into 5, 15. 15 into 5, 75. 75% of X. 75% of X. But again the same problem. If I have to find out Y, it will be 8% plus 6%. 8% of 7X. 6% of 7X. I cannot write 75% here because the 75% is for X. What I want it is for 7X. So like we had done in the previous question, right? 75% of X is equal to what percent of 7X? So that we get the direct percentage value for this pi here. You getting it? 75% of X is what percentage of 7X? So whatever comes in place of question mark can be filled here. So anyway, X and X gets cancelled. We can say the question mark here is going to be 75 by 7. 75 by 7%. So this is 75 by 7. So what is Y now? Y in our case. Y is this income of CDE together, right? So CDE 8 plus 6 plus 75 by 7. 8 plus 6 is how much? 8 plus 6 is 14. 14 plus 75 by 7. 14 plus 75 by 7% of 7X. Simplify this now. So 14 sevens is 98. 98 plus 75 is 173. 173 by 7% of 7X. So 7 and 7 gets cancelled. We get 173% of X. So Y is 173% of X. X is how much? 37% of 5X is like 150 plus 35, 185% of X. Done. Okay, I think again the problem is I actually don't mean X is 185% of X doesn't mean that X and X gets cancelled. It's like X dash and Y dash, sorry. Don't get confused, right? Or let me take it as, some other variable, maybe M and N. So M is what percent more or less than Y? M minus N. M is what percentage more or less than N? M minus N by N into 100. You getting it? Don't get confused with the same variable being used. M is what percentage more or less than N? M minus N by N into 100. Now do the calculation. I think we don't have enough space here, but the advantage is, see, this percentage of X and percentage of X is common in M and N, right? So anyway, that's going to get cancelled. So basically M is 185, N is 173. You now need to do the calculation, right? What I'll do is I'll clear some part of this step. I'm sure you have followed this, right? So what is the next step? Final answer. This will be equal to M minus N, 185 minus 173 by 173 into 100. So this is equal to what? Let me clear this whole step. I'm sure you have understood how we have got 75 by 7. So this is going to be equal to what? 12 by 12 upon 173 into 100. How much is 12 upon 173? See, if it is 12 by 180, it would be like 2 by 30, right? Or 200 by 30, which is like 6.66. This will be a little more than 6.66, greater than 6.66 percentage. Why greater than 6.66 percentage? Because the denominator is less. See, assumed denominator is 180, we got 6.66. Actual denominator is 173. When the actual denominator is less, actual value will be more. So a little more than 6.66. Right? Option 1, 7% has to be the answer. You're getting it? So option 1, 7% is the final answer. But please cut down the number of steps, right? I mean, don't write all these steps and waste your precious time in the exam. Alright? Let's go to the next question. Here's the next one. I think the last one from this pie chart. So you have 1 more minute and your time starts now. A and B together in 13 is 120% of A and B together in 12. Then A and B together increase or decrease by what percentage in 12 with respect to 10? So interesting one again. Let's see how many of you get the answer. So the question says, if income of firm A and B together in 2013 is 120% of income of the firms A and B together in 2012, then the income of firm A and B together increase or decrease by what percent in 2012 with respect to 2010? So if you see, the actual part of the question here is, that the income of A and B together increased or decreased by what percentage in 2012 with respect to 2010. With respect to 2010. You getting it? So basically we have to understand the change, percentage change from 10 to 12. Right? A and B together in 2010 to A and B together in 2012. How much is the change? Increase or decrease? And you know how to calculate this, right? I mean, final minus initial by initial into 100. This is the final value. This is the initial value. So final minus initial by initial into 100. Now A and B together in 2010 is very clearly known to us. A and B together in 2010. 10% plus 6%. 16%. 16% of 5x. What we have to find out is how much is A and B together in 2012. And for that, there is some information given here. What is it? The income of A and B together in 2013 is 120% of income of A and B together in 2012. Now what is income of A and B together in 2013? 11% plus 4%, 15%. See, A and B together in 2013 is 11 plus 4, 15%. 15% of what? 7x. Now this 15% of 7x is equal to 120% of, it is 120% of income of A and B together in 2012. A plus B in 2012. So from this, can we say that A plus B in 2012 is 15% of 7x by 120%? You understand? 15% of 7x upon 120%? Yes. Right? Simplify this. 15% goes how many times here? 8 times. So this is like 7x by 8. So basically A and B together in 2012 is 7x by 8. And A and B together in 2010 very clearly is 16% of 5x. By the way, 16% of 5x is how much? 0.8%, right? It's like, oh sorry, 0.8, not percent, 0.8. 16% of 5 is 0.8. 16% of 5 is 0.8, right? So 0.8x. So A and B 2010 is 0.8x. A and B 2012 is 7 by 8x or 7x by 8. We have to find out the difference between these two, percentage difference. Basically, income of A and B together in 2012 is how much more or less in compared to 2010. How do you get that? Final minus initial by initial into 100. Do that. So this 0.8 actually is like 4 by 5, right? 4 by 5. You're able to follow. It can be taken as 4x by 5. For the sake of simplicity, right? So final minus initial by initial into 100, right? So percentage change will be equal to 7 by 8 minus 4 by 5 upon 4 by 5 into 100. Final minus initial by initial into 100. You getting it? 7 by 8 minus 4 by 4 by 5 by 4 by 5 into 100. Now simplify this and get the answer. I mean, x anyway gets cancelled, so I have not taken it, right? So 40 is LCM here. This is 35 and this is, sorry, the 40 is LCM, 8 goes 5 times. So this is 35, 5 goes 8 times. 32, 35 minus 32 is 3. 3 by 40. 3 by 40 by 4 by 5. So that it becomes, you understand? This is like 3 by 40. 3 by 40 by 4. The numerator comes out to be 3 by 40. The denominator is 4 by 5. So what happens? This goes 8 times. And this becomes 3 by 24. Sorry, 3 by 32. Right? So 3 by 32 into 100. Approximately 9%. I mean, 32 is like 3 times, right? It goes 3 times in 100. 3 into 3 is 9. Approximately 9% is the answer. I mean, clearly 30%, 23%, 20% are out of range. 12% also is out of range. So 9% can be taken as the answer, best answer there. It's not exactly 9%, but approximately 9%. So option 4.